All right, so we're gonna run through question 3 lastly. I think the other ones, if you guys can handle question 3, I think you can handle anything. So we're gonna take a look at what it wants us to do. So last time we used the find method, we were just getting everything back. But like, what if we wanted to like search through our database and only get back, certain like elements that only met certain criteria? And that's where that little query object thing comes into play. And if we go to our application, and when we go to search by name, and I put in Jordan, I don't get anything. I don't even know if I get an error. Yeah, I get some, I don't know, don't look at, I'll fix that. So yeah, we'll take a look at our search by name, and we don't even have a fetch here. We don't even have a fetch. Yeah, this was that error I got. Even though it still works, it's still getting an error. Yeah, so we need to put our fetch here in this handle submit, right? Because this is where if you look here, we have our search, which is going to be the search input like that we're storing in the state. So we want to send that back in a get request. We want to use a get request because we're getting information, right? That's the whole point of this kind of thing. So we'll make a sort of like get reviews by user. And then we need to add a query object. I'll just call it search, or a query string into our path so our backend can get that information. And we'll say equals this plus search. Like, so when I say plus search, I'm referring to this thing, which is going to be the search input. We'll say that then just this classic. Everybody remembers the hits. And then we will do a response, and then we'll say let parsed response equal json.parse response. And then we want to say if parsed response.status then we're going to set the state with let's call it parsed response dot reviews. We'll say reviews after that. So this doesn't exist yet, this parsed response. So when we send it back, we have to make sure that it has these two properties, status and reviews, so that it actually works the way we have planned. Okay. So now that we have our fetch, we need to make this endpoint get reviews by user. So we didn't specify any. If we go back, I didn't add any body or anything. The second argument, the object you put with like method and body and headers and stuff. We don't need that for a get request. We can literally just leave it out and it will default to being get, which is nice. Save us some typing. So that means we can do @.get get reviews by user. And this is going to take some of this, one of these, and we're going to say let's search. So we have to get our query out of the path. So it's just as simple as rec.query. And we called the variable search. Remember we did. We put this search equals. So that's that's the name of our query property, and so we can just get it like that, just as easy. And next, we all love this step. We're going to connect to our database. And some of this. starting to notice a pattern, I hope. If you watch the previous videos, you probably know a little bit about what I'm doing here. If you didn't, we are establishing a connection to our Mongo database here with the URL we define way up top. And then we need to, you know, when we are connected, we get back this DB sort of argument, and then we call the DB method on that to sort of establish our database. And now here, things are going to get a little different. Before we had an empty query, now we want a real query. So we'll make a query object. And we'll say a query is going to equal to name search, because it's a get reviews by name, right? The username. So actually, I think it's a username. Yeah, it's username. So now that we have our query object and we have our database, we'll go ahead and identify the collection. So we're just gonna stick to, or for me, my reviews. That's where all my reviews are stored. So I want to hit there. We're gonna do a find, and instead of that empty guy, we put in our query, and then we turn it into an array. That takes the callback function, and from here, I think you probably know what's gonna happen. If there's an error, throw an error. Otherwise, let's just log our result, just so that if we have a problem, we can look at the back end and see if it's happening here. And then we need to make our response object, and we'll say status is true, and our reviews are going to be the result. And then we can close this guy up, close our connection, and then we can send our response. It's all very kind of formulaic, as you can see. You know, there's a real pattern to it. We'll save that, and then we're going to restart our server. We'll give that 1 second. And we're back online, and let's see if I can find some reviews by Jordan. Oh, there we go. Check it out. Looks pretty slick. We'll go Jack. And we're working. Amazing stuff. I can't even believe it myself. You see that our backend is logging. Nice work out there.